All right, shalom, shalom. Brother Yatazadai, Hero of Israel. I'd like to start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Right, so today's lesson, we're going to go in on chapter 27 of the book of Isaiah, right? And as you can see, right, the headline for this chapter says what? The deliverance of Israel, right? So let's get right into it, right? Giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Right? This is book Isaiah 27 and verse 1. Right? It says, in that day, the Lord with his sore and great and strong sword shall punish Leviathan, the piercing serpent, even Leviathan, the crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea. Now, as you can see, there's a distinction between Leviathan, right, and the dragon in the sea, right? Meaning, because you read Leviathan, right, it doesn't mean it's talking about the actual creature, which is a creation of the Most High, right, as a part of his weapons of indignation, right? You have the chariots, you have, right, the purifying fire, right, that will come during the destruction through the missiles. You have right here that crooked serpent is talking about America Babylon the Great, the so-called white man, right? That old the deceiver, the old serpent, like it says in the book of Revelation, right? Serpent, right? Nachash, meaning the diviner, to seek omens, right? But here, right, it's called Leviathan, the serpent, right? So let's go into the text, because if you study, right, the text, you're gonna know that, right, this is also mentioned in the account of the creation, right, which we're gonna go into that, but right, so in that day, right, the Hebrew text reads Bayawam Hahawa, right, in the day that is, Yapaquad, meaning Paquad, meaning a visitation, right, which the Lord is gonna make, right, through his weapons of indignation, the chariots, right, the destruction, right, and the actual Leviathan, which here it's not talking about the actual Leviathan, right? This is talking about, right, Esau, his system, right, his philosophies, right, part of that structure, right, which is why it's called Leviathan the serpent, right? So in that day that is, he will visit Yahweh Baharab, right, upon a sword, right? His sword is what? The armies of the earth, right? The missiles, the weapons of the Lord's wrath, right? Hakwash, right? Meaning what? Something hardened, right? Like it says, let's see, Salakia, I just had it, right? Now here it is, Kwasha, right? Denoting something firm, right? Or rough, right? So it says Hakwasha, right? Uh, Waha Gadol, right? So the sword will be furbished, right? When there is a peak into the former prophecies, right? That will come to pass, right? You got to have the charagma before, right? All hell breaks loose. Because right now we're in the time of what? Wars, rumors of wars, right? Earthquakes in diverse places, which is ultimately going to come in the form of what? Armageddon, right? You're going to have, like it says in Second Esdras, fire often being sent out, which will shake the earth, right? Um, Scriptures say what? That the earth will move to and fro like a drunkard, right? The mountains will be removed out of their place. That's part of, right? And then that's part of the earthquakes in diverse places. But also you have what? You got hurricanes and Puerto Rico, Florida, Cuba, typhoons and whatnot, right? As part of the Lord's wrath, part of his signs of the things that would happen in these latter days, right? The signs of the second coming of Hamashiach Yahushai, who you call Jesus Christ, right? So it says Wa Gadol, Waha Gadol, Wa Chazak, right? And great and strong, right? Al Lawayathan, right? So it's gonna be right a great and strong judgment upon the Leviathan, right? Which is Leviathan, Lawa, right? Meaning join unto, right? And the law it means to lend, right? Let's look that up real quick. So it just doesn't denote one thing, right? Let's see. Slovakia. Lawa, right? To lend, to enjoin, right? Then you have um, Nashak, which is right in the sense of biting, right? To take like interest, right? Says here to lend on usury, right? In the sense of biting, right? To strike with a sting as from a serpent, right? Then you have Ibat, which is another word for lend. Here, this is actually it's not change exchange. It's essentially right. Let's get the precepts for it. Right, borrow, right. Right, and then you have Nasha, right, which is right to be a creditor, right, which is from the Hebrew Nasha, meaning to lift up or burden, right. This is what loan sharks do, right? They'll tend to lend, but it's like you're taking usury, meaning, right? For example, certain dates, like um you might take interest after certain days, and then lift and increasing interest more and more, right? Which is one of the crises in Esau going on right now, right? The rise of interest rates, right? Um, so it says, in the day that is, he will visit Yahweh upon his sword, right? His sword is what? The weapons of destruction, right? Which is what? The modern day sword is the gun, the missile. You got uh, the modern day bow, right? It's a nuclear silo. The arrow, which it says in the scriptures that will be shot to the ends of the earth. That's the ICBM missile, right? So it says Hakwasha, sore and great, right? And strong, right? Upon Leviathan, right? Which Leviathan, it's forming part of that word, Lawaya. Lawa, Yathan, Yathan to give, right? Which is here, it's not actually talking about the creature Leviathan, it's talking about Esau, right? Just means a large serpent, large aquatic creature, right? Dragon, right? Really, this is talking about um let's see what else I can find right here, right? To join closely, right? We're talking about Esau's structure, right? His allies, they're closely joined together, right? Um, and actually, if you go into the law, right, there's a word, uh, athan, which is, right, continue, um, symbolizing perpetualness, right? So these Edomite structures, these various countries, they're already joined together by treaties, by right, there's summits that they go to where they have their councils, right? Which is it's talking about the whole system of the Edomite rulership, right? Let's get that in the law. Um, see if I can just look that up. Um, stream. No, that's not it. Um, flowing. That might be it. Nope. Let's see if I can just grab that. The Bible. This in Deuteronomy. Let's get that. Deuteronomy. Select it. Let me just get this real quick. Deuteronomy 21. Alright, let's get that. Deuteronomy 21 says the expiation of a crime, right, which is select it. Let me just get this real quick. Ayathon, right? So it's Deuteronomy 21 and 4, right? And the elders of the city shall bring down the heifer unto a rough valley, which is neither eared nor sown, and shall strike off the heifer's neck there in the valley, right? So the Hebrew says, Waharad, right? Go down, Zaquania, the elders of the city, Ayar, Hawa, that is, to Atha, Igala, right? Which is denoting a heifer, right? Al Nahal, right? Says valley here, but that word Nahal is, I believe, like a stream, right? If I'm not mistaken. Let's just click on that real quick. Right, a river, a stream, right? Because you have the word for river is actually Nahar. Nahal is a stream, right? Ayathan, right? There's that Yathan. Rough, but it doesn't mean rough. It denotes, right, perennial constant, like a continuously flowing stream, right? Ever flow and steady flow, right? Athan meaning to continue, permanence, hence permanent, right? A chieftain, right? So that Athan, that Ayathan or Athan, right? Leviathan, right? Is how Esau is joined continually, right, onto his own, right, people of his nation and the other nations as well, right, and their councils, and right, pushing this one world agenda, right, which is crumbling right before Esau's eyes. As you have division in these latter days, you have, right, dissidents, rebellion, right, traitors in these last days, sabotage, right? See that with the plants, with the fields, the beasts of the field, right? Which is gonna lead to all hell breaking loose, right? So it says, let's go back to Isaiah 27, right? So you can't just go off what the blue letter says. You got to compare and contrast, right? So Leviathan, right? Which is not always talking about Leviathan, right? The creature. But it also is describing Leviathan, not in this context, but the word itself. When you read it in other places, because it's a large sea creature that the Most High is going to raise up, right, in these latter days, right, when all hell breaks loose, right? But it is here it's talking about Esau's structure, right? So it says, in the day that is, he will visit Yahweh upon the sword, rough and great, and will be strengthened, right? Hazak, meaning to be strengthened, right? Upon Leviathan, Al Leviathan Nahash, right? The serpent, um, Barach, meaning, right, to go through, right? It sometimes denotes the bars of a door or bars that go through a gate, right, to keep it shut. It also denotes, right, fleeing through in the midst of in certain contexts you read about, right, fleeing through, right, like say you run through a crowd of people to flee, right, you're going kind of going just through, right, not as in piercing, but let's just read what it says, right, piercing, right, fleeing, right, which it doesn't mean fleeing, it actually means it's a means of bolt, right, to flee through something, which is what a bolt does, right, to pass through, reach across, right, I believe in the law it says to flee, actually that's Numbers chapter 24, right, when he said I will, right, something in the sense of I'll flee back into my, flee through, right, escape it back into my own land, right, but, right, it says, right, Leviathan the serpent, really it's talking about Leviathan the fleeting serpent, right, because this is what Esau does. He uses, right, it's his divinations, his right, which is through his media, through his propaganda machine, right, to push these enchantments, right, which is in the form of what, psyops, false flags, right, psychological warfare, right. So it says, upon Leviathan, the serpent fleeting, right? Because Esau, right, he thinks through, right, the distractions, through all that, right, that the world is going to somehow forget that he is the devil that the Bible speaks of. He thinks that somehow, right, he's gonna postpone the day of the Lord's wrath, right, which is hastening day by day, right? And it says, Wa'al Leviathan Nahash, right, and upon Leviathan, right, the diviner, uh, I qual, I qual, I qual, I qual, I qualathon, right, which I qual, that's talking about perverseness, right, the serpent that divines, or Leviathan, right, Nahash, the serpent, right? Perversions, right? Doesn't mean tortuous, crooked. Let's go to the root word. To twist, to wrest, to pervert, right? And that's eerily similar to the word Iquab, which means heal, or he is the end, which is Yah meaning he, Iquab the end. But here, right, and this is what Esau's trying to do. He's trying to pervert the minds of the remnant, right? To get them to go off, get them to, right, get out of character, right, to fall off, right, from your faith, right, which is what Satan did when he tempted Yahushua, right? He was playing, right, mind games, right, saying turn this rock into bread, cast yourself down, and the angels will take charge over these. Is it that not written, right? But Yahushua, he told Satan, right, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God, right? So, right, this is what Esau's trying to do. He's trying to turn Yaquab, which is, right, he, the end, he is the heel, right, because the prophets are on his ass, right, exposing his works, calling out the wicked, right, prophesying the end through the power of Spirit Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kakodash, right? So he's trying to turn the remnant, right, the elect, the hopeful elect, right, which are those that are in this truth doing the work, right? He's trying to turn Yaquab to Yaqual, you know, instead of he being the end or the heel. He's trying to turn Yaquab he Yaqual. He is perverted, right? And 2/3 of our people, they're right, they're off, right? Um, right. Waharag, right? Smite to kill, right? Slay, that doesn't mean slay. It means harag, meaning smite to kill. To the dragon, Hanayim, Ashar, Bayam, which is in the sea. Now, this is actually talking about the great creature that Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is going to raise up, which is Leviathan himself, which he's going to, right, is going to happen when all hell breaks loose, right? And no, there's no second wilderness. Other camps say that. Other camps say that when Leviathan gets raised up, when he gets raised up, he's going to be raised up just so the Most High can slaughter him and provide food for the Israelites in second wilderness, right? That's nonsense, right? So the Niam doesn't mean great serpent. It means like a large sea creature, like for example, like a whale, right? And you read about that in Genesis, right? Chapter 1 and 21 says what? And God created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after its kind. And God saw that it was good, right? And that, right, it's talking about a large, right, sea creature, right, in the sense of let's see if we can get that. It means kind of like a huge marine animal, right, which essentially is it's a whale, right? Let's get whale. Whale definition. A very large marine mammal with a streamlined hairless body, right? Essentially, right? And there's that word, Leviathan, right? Let's just type in whale synonyms, right? Which, right? So you have whales that you don't just have one kind of whale. Whale that's really just talking about, right? A large sea creature, right? Synonyms for whale: big, colossal, enormous, gargantuan, gigantic, right? And so on and so forth, right? So when you picture a whale, it's not just how it just doesn't look one way, right? Whale, Czechoslovakia, whale. Let's just look that up. See if we can get in images. Right. So you have all kinds of whales, right? But they don't all look like whales per se, right? Some look like giant fish, giant, right, reptiles, right? Right. So that's even you got whale sharks, right? You got um right, all various kind of whales, right, which are right, beluga whale, which looks like a dolphin, right? So you can't say whale just looks one type of way. Really, it's denoting this large sea creature, right? Um, so again, can't just go off, what the blue letter says, right? Because here it says wolf and some other bugged out things, right? A whale, the Nayan, right? Which can also denote a large serpent, because you have sea creatures that are, right, can be reptiles, can be so on and so forth, right? Um, right, with smite the kill to the dragon, which is in the sea. That's talking about the actual, right, uh, sea creature, right, Leviathan, right. So you can't let the text get you mixed up, right. Um, Isaiah 27:2. In that day, sing you unto her a vineyard of red wine, right. The Hebrew says by Yawam Hawa, in the day that is Karam, which is vineyard, Hamad, right, which is right. Let me see if I can find something real quick. Red. See if that's not actually. Nope. See, red is Hamar, right? Wine, so-called from fermenting, right? So it looks like the hamar, but the text says hamad, right? So you have, right, could be a scribal error or, right, um, or a mistranslation, right? So it says by a wom, and the day that is will be a vineyard, hamad, right? Hamad meaning to covet or something precious, right? Like the knowledge or tree of life of of knowledge of good and evil. It was called Hamad, precious to enlighten the eyes of one, to be able to give insight, right? So the vineyard precious, that's talking about the elect, right? It's not talking about red wine, right? Inawa Laha, right? Which is Aina, meaning to bring low or to humble. Moses was called Ainaya, meaning he was a humble individual, right? So the Most High, right? His vineyard, which is the elect, right? It's gonna be precious, a remnant. They're gonna be, right, coveted, meaning sought after, right? You can covet something in a good way, covet something in a bad way, right? Covet to prophesy, right? That's a good, right, type of covetousness, right? It just depends on what it is, right? Coveting your neighbor's wife, that's off, right? So the vineyard, right, precious, which is the elect, right? The Most High is going to bring his third, right, to the fire, right? Humble them and right, and ultimately, right, the chastisement of the Most High is compared like unto a father and a son, right? He may bring us low, like scriptures say, but right? Um, the scriptures say that right, he will ultimately cast our sins into the sea. Death is going to be swallowed up, which is the elect receiving spiritual power. Most High is going to take the sins that we had, and he's going to that's not going to be remembered after anymore, right? After the remnant get delivered, right? You have 144,000, you have a great multitude, right? Israelite man, women, and child, right? Isaiah 27:3, I the Lord do keep it. I will water every moment, lest any hurt it. I will keep it night and day, right? The text reads, Anaya Yahweh Natazar, right? I Yahweh will guard it. That's what Natazar means. Regayim, right? Regai, meaning the wink of the eyes, right? You know it in a short space of time. Instantly, suddenly, right? For a moment of time, right? Which is what the Most High cut endorsed the day short, right? Speeding up the prophecies, right? Hastening that day with the new signs, new revelations that are coming, right? Happening before your very eyes. Like I said, wars, rumors of wars, dissension, division, right? The downfall of the so-called white man, right? Which Hamashiach Yahushua said, I saw Satan like lightning falling down from heaven, right? So all these things are going to be quick, right? The book of Romans says what? That it's gonna be, Lord will make a short work upon the earth, right? The dollar crashing, right? No more banks being right? The banks being done away with, paper currency being done away with. All these things are biblical, and they're happening before your very eyes, right? So let's check that out, right? Might have to do a part two because I wasn't going to go into some of these current events, but let's check it out. So like, yeah, trying to get this damn thing right. This is from End Time Headlines. Tensions continue to rise after North Korea flew 12 warplanes near its border. This is 23 hours ago with South Korea on Thursday, prompting the South to scramble 30 military aircraft in response, right? Which is after the fact that North Korea shot missiles right over Japan, literally, right? This is End Time Headlines. Biden warns that nuclear Armageddon risk is highest since the 1962 crisis, while Putin is reportedly isolated in a nuclear bunker. Right? Could be true, could be not. Right? But the risk of Armageddon is true. But I'm saying, as far as Putin being somewhere in a nuclear bunker, that just could be something that, Esau likes to just push out there, right? There are reports of that, but, scriptures say to watch, right? Measure the time diligently, right? Observe, right? Let's see what else we got. This is from Insider Paper. U.S. buys $290 million worth of anti-radiation drugs for use in nuclear emergencies, right? This is what our elders and apostles have been saying for decades and decades and decades, right? War is coming. Thermonuclear fire, right? The elect being delivered, right? The end being preached, right? The kingdom of heaven being, right, pushed, right? And every man presseth unto it, as it is written, right? Actually, let's get a precept in the book of Luke, right? It says what? Let's see what we got right here. This is the book of Luke, chapter 7, and verse 28, right? Or we'll start at verse 23. And blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me, right? Let's start at verse 22. Then Yahushua answered, said unto them, Go your way, and tell John what things ye have seen and heard, how that the blind see, the lame walk, right? Because we were blind to this truth once, right? We were slow in our understanding, right? But now we're being strengthened, right? By faith, by the word, right? The lepers being cleansed, right? You can see it as, right, there being a division, right, between, right, what these other camps call, right, call them brothers, right? Oh, you're an Edomite just because you look a certain way. You're a Hamite because you look a certain way, right? This truth is what cleanses the understanding, right? The deaf here, right? Right, which we were the deaf, right? The dead being raised, right? Which starts with the remnant, right? The poor, the gospel being preached, right? Luke 7:23, and blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me, right? Luke 7:24, and when the messengers of John were departed, he began to speak unto the people concerning John, saying, What went ye out in the wilderness for to see? A reed shaken with the wind? But what went ye out to see? A man clothed in soft raiment? Right? And the scriptures say what? We will not wear a rough garment to this, right? The liars, the false prophets will not wear a rough garment to deceive. Those that would be speaking this word will be prophesying in sackcloth, right? meaning we're not going to be in, right, the shiniest, the most, right, uh, the right, see who has, right, the most glitz and right, who shows out, right, as far as the garments, right. Our job is just to go out and preach His word, right. Um, Behold, Luke 7:25. Behold, they which are gorgeously apparelled and live delicately or in king's courts. But what went, Salakia, ye out to see a prophet? Yeah, I say unto you, much more than a prophet. This is Yahweh Shai speaking on John the Baptist, right? Which was, right, which is Elijah, which is Abba Bivens, right? Um, John 7:27, Salakia, Luke 7:27. This is he of whom it is written, Behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way before thee. Right? And the scriptures say what? That when Elijah the prophet, right, would return, right, which was John the Baptist, which was Abba Bivens, right, would turn the hearts of the children to the fathers, the heart of the fathers unto the children. Right? So we have fathers in this thing spiritually, right? We learn from the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, right? Like it says in the book of Isaiah, right? The strangers will cleave unto the house of Jacob. We are the strangers. We all, right, fell into a Gentile state of mind, right? And as children, desiring the sincere milk of the word, and then moving on to the meat, right? We become fathers unto others by what? Speaking sound words, sound doctrine, right? And like Elder Yashawamba recently said, right? You got those that are out there preaching, right? Which is, right, been given the keys of David, starting, right, with Peter, right, which was the head apostle, right? And you have, right, which was King David, which was King Marshall, right? The keys of the right, of the house of David, right, which is the kingdom of David, right? Hell will not prevail against it, meaning those that are speaking this truth, right? If you're right of the elect, you're not gonna fall out, right? You're gonna have, you're gonna be given certain understandings, and right, it says in the book of Malachi that what, a book of remembrance was written before them, and they spoke often one to another, right? We do that to these videos by building, right, brick upon brick, right, until we come to a perfect knowledge of the understanding of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, right? That speaks about that in the book of Galatians, right? For that edifying of the body of Hamashiach, right, which is the elect, right? So we all have certain keys that bring certain understandings, and we build, and we build, and we build, and we push towards the kingdom of heaven, right, which is within you, right? Really within the remnant, right, which will bring, right, and speak it, right, into existence, right? So it says, Luke 7:27, this is he of whom it is written, Behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way before thee. For I say unto you, among those that are born of women, there is not a greater prophet than John the Baptist, but he that is least in the kingdom is greater than he. So what does that mean? That means that what? John the Baptist came on the scene to serve a purpose, right? Elijah the prophet, right, served a purpose. Our elder Abba Bivin served a purpose, right? And there is no greater, right, than John the Baptist, right? Because he came, right, to put a spark back into the remnant, right? He came in this time before Yahweh Shai, right, to push, right, to push that the coming of our Lord, right? to confirm the promises unto our fathers, right? And this is what we're doing in these latter days, right? So it says there's none greater than John the Baptist, but he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. Meaning you have those great, you have from the least to the greatest that are going to speak the 100% truth, right? But we're serving a greater purpose, especially in these latter days, right? Because we're going to be building upon the apostles, the prophets, Yahushua being the chief cornerstone, right? So there's no greater than those that have pushed away and brought the true way back, right? One West, right? The elders that came before us, right? But even the least of us in these latter days, right, are greater because we've been given a greater charge, a greater burden, right? So there's no greater, right, than John the Baptist, but right, the least in the kingdom of God, which is right, the hopefully elect, right? We're greater than him in the sense that we have right a clearer understanding, right, which is a greater responsibility, right, to give the true sense, right, to prophesy, right, of the end, right. John 7:29. Actually, that's it for that. Um, so yeah, and then you read what? Salakia, Luke 7:30. But the Pharisees and lawyers rejected the counsel of God against themselves, be not baptized with him. Right? So this is when Yahushua rebuked them. He said, right, whereunto shall I liken, verse 13, and the Lord said, whereunto then shall I liken the men of this generation? To what are they like? They are like unto children sitting in the marketplace, and calling one to another, saying, we have piped unto you, and you have not danced. We have mourned to you, and you have not wept. For John the Baptist came neither eating bread nor drinking wine, yet ye say he hath the devil. The Son of Man is come eating and drinking, and ye say, behold, a gluttonous man, a winebibber, a friend of publicans and sinners, but wisdom is justified of all her children. Right? So Yahushua was calling the Pharisees, the lawyers out on their bullshit, right? He said, right, what is this generation? Meaning their generation. Compared unto those sitting in the marketplace saying, we have piped, you have not danced, right? Meaning Yahushua was calling out the Pharisees and lawyers for just being for show, right? Seeming to be righteous, but they weren't really altogether righteous, meaning they weren't doing the right thing, right? They taught the law, but then they separated from these Israelite foreigners, right? And the law clearly grants, right, a return, right, through repentance, right, and right, ultimately, right, they rejected the counsel and they weren't even baptized of John, right, because of envy, jealousy, right, um, right, which is a heavy spirit in these other camps in these latter days, right, jealousy, envy, strife, right, and Yahushua, right, was called a gluttonous man, a friend of publicans and sinners, but these were Israelite foreigners, right. For example, Matthew, which is called Levi, right, which was a publican, right, which was later on an apostle, one of the 12, right? So wisdom is justified right over children, right? And that wisdom is what? Understanding that what is right and what is wrong. The Pharisees are wrong. Yahushua, John the Baptist, they were doing what the word said, right? Calling those that had fallen away to repentance, right? Which were of the Israelites, right? So now, right, let's go back to this is from Insider The Insider, it says Zelensky's comments to Australia's Lowy Institute on preemptive strikes against Russia are called to begin a nuclear war, right? Basically, this Ukraine president, right? Which he is. You look at his history. He was like some kind of actor, right? Maybe a paid actor, right? He commented that the NATO, right? He was calling for NATO to take preemptive action against Russia before Russia, right, makes a preemptive nuclear strike, which Russia did not answer well to that. They took that as a serious threat, right? So this is from Apex. Biden, Putin not joking about tactical nuclear weapons, Armageddon risk at highest level since Cuban Missile Crisis, right? And that's the same thing I just read, right? A little random information, but right, this is from Zion Consult. It says Bill Gates' grandfather founded the Rockefeller Foundation, Frederick Taylor Gates, right? So you know they're linked with the super elite, right? They might be, right? They probably, because this is what Esau does, right? They change their names and, right? Like, for example, the elders brought up about the history about Queen Elizabeth and them, right? They're originally from Germany, right? They just changed their names, and Rothschilds have done that as well, and right. So you know they're all right part of that umbrella, right? Um, it's from Insider Paper. Biden says the world. I actually already read that. There's another one I wanted to get. Is from Wall Street channel. The Xinjiang isolation camp, filmed on 4th of October, is so wide that you can't see the end of it. Looks like a concentration camp to experts, but China claims it is just COVID isolation camp, right? And that's bullshit, right? This is what's coming to America. Babylon the Great. FEMA camps. All hell breaking loose. Look at that. Let's look at these facilities. This is in China. All right, check this out. Actually, whatever. This is from Carl Schwab. Going back to normal is fiction. It will not happen. All right. BNO News. Yeah, I already read that. So you got North Korea fires ballistic missile at U.S. aircraft carrier as U.S. aircraft carrier returns to EC, right? You got Russia, Saudi oil deals going on. You got prices being raised. The Saudis raising oil prices on the U.S. while lowering it to Europe, right? Divided Europe. That's the 10 toes. That's the right, the 10 horns, right, which represents divided Europe. The Edomites divided. Um, that's not important. That's kind of the serious report. The clown show continues. Washington, U.S. needs to be less dependent on OPEC and foreign producers of oil. Here's some advice: stop threatening them every 5 minutes. This is from Disclosed TV. Truss um, some kind of Britain representative. Ukraine can win. Ukraine must win, and Ukraine will win. This is why the U.S. and these other countries they're backing Ukraine, because eventually they know that if Russia advances as quickly as they plan to, right, they're eventually going to be in their own backyard, right? Um, this is David from David Wolf. Remember when mandatory vaccinations, cashless society, facial recognition, digital tracking, mass censorship, microchips, 5G infrastructure, construction used to be conspiracy theory only 6 months ago? Yeah, me too. Right? Um, Insider paper. Actually, that's not the one I want to get. There's another one I had down here. This is from Golden Telegram. BRICS countries are exploring establishing a new reserve currency to better serve their economic interest. Right? A single currency based on a basket of currencies of the BRICS countries. The global economy is changing quickly. Right? But that's it really for that. So yeah, let's get Salakia. Let's go back to Isaiah 27:3. Right? It reads, I the Lord do keep it. I will water it every moment, lest any hurt it. I will keep it night and day. Right? The Hebrew says, Anaya Yahweh Natazarah La Regayim, right? Yahweh will guard it, right? Uh, La Regayim, meaning, right, for a short time, right? Shakwan, right? I will water it, Pan less Yapaquad, right? They visit it upon it, right? Laya, Layala, Wayawam, night and day, right? So the Most High is holding back the winds of destruction, right? And right until these things have all been declared and they come to pass, right? So you're gonna have some martyrs, which is martyr just means witness, right? For witnessing, right? Bearing witness to the truth, right? But you're gonna have a great multitude to live, or you're gonna have, right, the elect being sealed, right, and then the end coming to pass, right, which is the end of Esau's kingdom, right, the great destruction, the great deliverance, right. Um, so it says, "I will keep it night and day," right, or for a short moment, right, lest they visit upon it, right. I will atazaran, right, atazarana, meaning, right, I will guard it, right. Isaiah 27:4, fury is not in me, who would set the briars and thorns against me in battle. I will go through them, I will burn them together, right. So Chama, right, um, which is which is denoting anger. Salakia. Right? Denoting warmth or being wroth, right? Or denoting right, rage, right? Hama ayan, rage is not, right? To me, Laya, Maya Yathanaya, Maya meaning uh, who I have given, right? Shemayar, Shayath, briars, thorns, right? Ba Malchama, which is in battle, right? So essentially, right, you're gonna have, right, the Most High, right? He has all these things already ordained since the foundation of the world, right? You're gonna have the elect being preserved. You're gonna have, right, division, right? You're gonna have all these things going on in the middle of the gospel being preached. You're gonna have Esau given as for a briar and a thorn, the heathen, right? But ultimately, the Lord is gonna keep, right, His vineyard, which is the remnant, right? So the truth is gonna come out, right? Right, the word is gonna be preached, right? And those that press into the kingdom will press into it, right? Even in tribulous times, right? So it says apashai, right? Um, Pashai meaning transgress, but it also means to rush upon, right? In the sense of to stride, right? In the sense of right, Salakia. Let's just click on see what it says for that. See if I can get a precept. Pashai, right? So it doesn't really give me anything. It just in the sense of step to march, right? In the sense of really right, to rush upon, right? Right. So I will rush upon, right, upon her, right? That's Babylon the Great, because the Ba and the Ha makes it feminine, right? And those who vex Israel, right? Ultimately, Lord's going to visit the heathens, the Edomites, right? 2/3 of our people, right? And second coming of Hamashiach Yahushai, right? In the midst of Armageddon, right? Right after the uh, uh, the charagma is implemented, right? Which is, right, Revelation 13:16, right? The chip, right? Which will be given, right? Both small and great, rich and poor will receive that, right? You take it, you're going to be destroyed. You take it, if you're a heathen or not, you're going to be destroyed, right? So it says, Atazayath, uh, Atazayathan, right? Yahad, right? I will burn them together, right? Because Tazawath meaning to, it literally means to set on fire, right? Set on fire, right? Here it says to sooth, but it's Tazawath, right? And there's, you can let's see if we can find that here. The lexicon, which is Let's type in Kindle. Right. That's talking about what? You are the nations, Esau, 2/3 of our people. Right. When you see, and I believe I saw this on Twitter. There's a man that commented. He said, in the event of a nuclear attack, you're gonna notice first, your electricity is gonna go off, and then after that, if you're driving a vehicle that's less than 10 years old, it's gonna suddenly turn off, and then you're only gonna have minutes from that point on to seek an underground shelter, because by that point the nuclear radiation is already in the area, but the force of the explosion is not gonna really be present until a few minutes after, right? So that's all that means. I went over this in a different video, Yatazath, right? Which is the same as Tazawath, to set on fire, to kindle, right? Literally, it means to set on fire. So yeah, I mean, that's ultimately what is destined for 2/3 of our people, and you heathens, Esau, anybody that's in America Babylon the Great. It's just, you're walking charcoal, and right, you're done. I mean, you're gonna be destroyed. So that's all there is to it, really. Like, there's no actual gospel for you heathens, mockers, and right, your future is looking very bleak. And right, so our hope is in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So Lord willing, Abaratazah, we we can hopefully we can at least see that day. Or if we go back to the spiritual world before that, we'll still be good, because we're gonna have the first part in the chariots, right? The water Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right, for this marvelous light that not all can receive, right? So that's what it's talking about, right? Like the header of this chapter says, the deliverance of Israel, right? Ba'ashem Mashiach Yahushai, right? So I'm gonna do a part 2, and Lord willing, you were edified, right? Giving honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Hawakai, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and Kwame Yasharala about Baal Shalom. Stay tuned for part 2, and Shalom.